play goal. You guys had one of those shifts that we really recognized from earlier in the year where you're kind of fighting to keep the puck in. It comes within inches of going out, and you guys are fighting it like it's a life or death scenario. How important is it for your game to look like that? How much is that a tenet of what you guys do when you're at your best?
That's how you win in the playoffs, with that intensity in every shift and in every situation. So those are the situations we talk a lot about. Getting pucks in when we have no choice and making sure we get them out when we can't make a play, and then you live to fight another day. So, but that's the intensity that's required pretty much on every shift when you hit the playoffs.
What does that do to your opposition when they know that they're just trying to clear a little pressure, get it out of the zone, and the team that they're playing is like fighting for every last inch? What's the psychological aspect of that?
Yeah, well, that's, you're trying to wear the opposition down. You're trying to show them that we're going to be on top of them the whole game and make it very difficult for them to move and play their game. You're trying to control the tempo of the game in all those scenarios, and we get very hard to play against when we're on top of our game. We get the opposition gets frustrated, and that's when that's when we know we're at our top of our game.
For you, what's the importance of trying to track down home ice advantage in these next 6 games?
It'd be nice to have home ice advantage. There's no question about it. But again, the most important thing we're focusing on is the details of the game and the situations that arise from the game within the game that determine the outcome of it. And so those are the things we're putting a lot of focus on. If we can get home ice, great. If not, then it's just important that we're playing our game and we're comfortable with our game at that point.
Rick, is this a 4-game road trip or a 1-game road trip, and then a 3-game road trip?
Yeah,
I know
it's 1 and 3. Yeah, yeah. We didn't want the guys to go into Nashville too early.
Geez, I wonder why.
Is Nino going to go on the short one, Rick? Is Nino going to go on the short one on the one game? Nino.
Well, you said Nino. No, he's not coming with us tomorrow.
Rick, where do you stand on load management? I mean, sometimes there's the conversation that crops up that you've clinched, so now maybe you can rest some bodies and that sort of thing. But if bodies don't need the rest, where are you on that as a head coach?
We want to make sure we're playing well. I've seen teams that have rested guys, and you lose the edge. You do. It kind of backfires. So you run that risk of resting guys and them losing the edge. Just so I'm on all four. Just making sure we're on top of our game, and we got 4 lines going. We got our special teams have got to stay focused and keep improving on that, and then we go from there. If a guy's banged up a little bit, then he won't play. That's the difference. But if they're rested and they're fresh and they want to play, we're going to keep going until we get to those last couple, and we'll figure it out from there. But we've got some very tough games here against tough opponents. We want to stack. We want to see where our game stacks up against them, and next week and starting tomorrow, and we'll go from there.
Rick, as you've been such a guy when it comes to shifts rather than time on ice, how essential for these last 6 games is it to, say, have it between 15 and 20 shifts up front, and for the high and the low, and then maybe 18 and 24, 25 on the defense?
Depending on the games, shift totals are important, and it's important for the flow of the game. And if the lines are out there, they're too long and their shifts are too long, then it cuts into the ice time with the other players. But we've got to make sure with the 4 lines that they're all getting the adequate minutes to stay on top of the game, and for the defense as well. So I keep a very close track of the shift totals. Now, a lot other things happen with specialty teams, power play, penalty kill, that throws that out of whack, right? And it does. You look at the minutes last night, and we had those long power plays, and we're in their zone the whole time. It takes minutes away from other guys, but again, they're in their zone the whole time. So you got to sort through all of that as well. So the shift totals and the shift lengths, I keep a very close eye on. And then if I see something we don't like, then I got to say, okay, how'd that happen? Well, they're on the power play for 2 minutes, or they're in their zone the whole 2 minutes. You don't want them to change. So you got to go through those things.
Rick, you guys, with 6 games left, you're leading the Jennings Trophy race for the stingiest team in the NHL. I'm not saying he's going to get the starts, but would you try and find a way to get LB 4 appearances so that he would qualify, even if it means putting him in for a minute?
Those are things we'll discuss as we go along here.
Rick, just one on Gabe. If you coached a guy maybe in Dallas or Tampa that sort of does the things in front on the power play, that deception that he has, is there a guy that compares to that?
Corey Perry, right? We had Corey in Dallas, and he was so good around the net, and the confidence. And you know you're going to get hacked and whacked and pushed and shoved, and you got to have the stamina and the courage to hang in there, which he does. Then you got to have the ability to make plays with somebody all over your back, and you know you're strong enough and skilled enough to make those plays. So Corey would be the closest I've come to that he's like Gabe. So yeah. Good, thanks.
Thank you.